This box that I'm drawing, you don't have to draw, but this represents your page. You know, find center of it. Not to say that you're going to absolutely have things fitting, but it's good to know where center is on your page so you can understand how to place things, you see, and where you want to place things. Also, it gets you thinking like a camera, because if you put that X in the middle or just put a dot, just know that represents this area right here. Okay? And all the cameras and everything represent this area, but then the new cameras represent the whole area right here, this right here. So that's why the boxes be jumping and doing all that in the middle of the camera. Okay, everybody? So now with that being said, if we put the horizon line up here, ladies, that's gonna give us more land. If I put the horizon line down here, ladies and gentlemen, for the re-recording, that's gonna give us more sky. You see, so then Jules, that drawing that you did, or that painting, the watercolor that you did in the park, if we was to put a line down low, now you would do all that beautiful sky work that you did in there, all in here. But since we're going for both, now we have to change it up. We'll bring that line down so we can get a happy middle, almost. Notice how I didn't go to the middle of the scene. I went just above middle, because now you have sky into play with a little bit of land. You see, depending upon the point of view that we take, we can make that work and happen. So if you have your piece of paper, ladies, right about above proverbial eye level, or above proverbial middle of your page, wherever you're saying middle is. Doesn't have to be perfect, everybody. I don't worry about if you have to have a straight edge and things like that. If you feel as if you need a straight edge to do that, or you want to have other people that'll fold the page so that it'll represent that center idea, I'm fine with all of that. Except for when you do it with these other conventions, it takes up more time. That's all. All right, you ready, ladies?
Absolutely.
All right, I like that, strong lungs. Yeah. All right, let's set up the terrain here. So first things first, I'm gonna say that the shoreline is gonna start right about here. And now we come across that way, all the way across on a slant, like so. See how I just put that dotted line in? Mm-hmm. That's just to say where your shoreline is going to be. All right. Now what happens is we can put another dot over here to say what? To say where the beachfront is for the boardwalk that may be at a distance. You can take it all the way through if you like. You see? Ready? Now we're gonna do some real fun stuff now. Yeah, it's about to get stupid. We're gonna come and we're gonna cut across right here and then down like this is a mountain. You see? We're gonna erase out this area right there. You see what I just did? However you did it, you wanna do that and erase out that area. See what we're setting up already? Mm-hmm. Does it feel like we're looking over something?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the feeling we want, everybody. That's the feeling we want, okay? Now we're gonna do something else courageous. Right along here, put a dot right along the halfway point of that area in between the horizon line and the bottom of your page. And then now you're gonna do a line that goes across. All the way across just like that. And then we're gonna erase that area out underneath there. Now what that area is gonna represent is the highland, like how that would be the room, Miss Paulette. This is gonna be the area where we're gonna sit this young lady that I'm talking about to look at this scene, like she's looking over to look at the boardwalk. So it'll feel like we're looking out a window, but we're really not, okay? So for my ladies that are here, are we okay at this point? Do we have this feeling on your page?
Yes.
All of us?
Yes.
Come on, can we say it all with confidence that you have this on the page?
Yeah, pretty much so.
Okay, I'm with that. Miss Jules, how about you? How you feeling?
I'm
You
good.
got it somewhat there, you good? Miss Paulette, you already said you was good several times, so I know you with it. All right, let's go. You notice how I erased out the whole area. So now, let's play with our area in here. Since we know this is the water area, now we can start making that feel like it's moving like an S movement, back and forth, to represent the water crashing upon the shoreline. So let me do a line that represents that. You ready? Right underneath. I'm gonna take this area right here and bring it down here. So what happens is, ladies, when you're doing that movement, you're really going left to right and moving side down the page. You see what I'm doing? You see, you can make it angular if you wanted to, like a zipper, but what we're trying to get is a natural movement. And as you get across the page, it will get bigger and bigger. Why? Because we're trying to say that will be closer up on us or coming closer to this area where she's sitting. So you notice how I started off with it being smaller over here, near the horizon line. And then as you're coming across, it'll be smaller. You'll see more and more of that shoreline. You get it now, ladies?
I think so.
All right. Now, another thing you can do too as well is show a line going left to right like this towards the shore. With your pencil, that's just going to let you know that the water is running to that direction towards the shoreline. Run it right to the edge of where you're saying that mountain is. So I'm doing it left and right. Every now and then, let it wave a little bit like a little bump, you see? And I make it feel like water. We can't make water. We got to make things feel like what we see. You see, that's another mistake of perfectionists. There are actually some of them, you can hear them in their rhetoric. They'll say that they're actually making the water. No, you're not. You're using material. You're making us feel the water. So I'm one of those. If you make us feel the water, then that's just like the water is there. That's what you want. You want the person to come and look and be like, oh, man, Miss Paulette, that's water. You know what I mean? You know? And that's just to get it started. You see, this is not to go to the finish, ladies. Do things symbolically just to get things started. Once you get it started, then now you can start bringing it up gradually. You know, we're not computers. We can't press a button on the back of our heads yet and then just make this image come to life. That's another mistake people make. You know, so we have to deal with trial and error, which is the perfect thing of what? Failure and success. Trial and error. So even if it looks funny, like even if some of yours has tilted, like let me use I don't have my box of markers out, but let's say it then with my hand. Even if that angle is off, like how my arm is here, you know it's off, try to bring it up. Just try to bring it up with a line first and then follow the line, you see, and make that shape, that movement. You see? All right, then the other thing is then how we make the boardwalk. Now this is where you can give us a clean line. And now this is where we can start by putting a box, like right about here. Put a nice box, right? So it seems like it's the top of like one of those little buildings that would sell cotton candy or something like that. You see what I did, everybody? That would be like a building. This is the boardwalk. This is the building on the boardwalk, you see? So now we're looking over a spot where obviously we're gonna make it so that people can access this area to get to the beach. See what we just did? Now some of this might get covered too in our later building up of the scene, but let's just get this together. Now we would take this corner here and this corner here and this corner here to this dot for the boardwalk. See what I did? Now we can say how many houses is there or how many businesses are there, you see, based upon dealing with that square and then saying how many are in there at that point. Now, there's a way that we can do an X in here and then step and repeat to get the exact, so they all look like they're in dimension in space. I'm not gonna beat you guys up with that today. We're gonna just have a free movement and moment. Guesstimate how big each one of those spaces are. To say that those are properties, you know what I mean? Say that those are businesses that are catering to the people, like Atlantic City, you know what I mean? You know, like Coney Island, you know. I'm just naming off the things that's close by. You know, like the Maryland Seaport, things like this, going down that way, Ocean City, and all that good stuff. Whereas we'll be off the back. So now you know everything over here is going to go off this dot right here. Say, for instance, you wanted to make a parking lot. You would follow this area. Like this is the area behind there. Say, for instance, we wanted to say it was on, I would just say stilts. It was a raised boardwalk. You see how I did that? That means that the stilts would have to be here too, you see? And then this would be the front of the boardwalk right here, or the pier. You see that? And then now we can leave that open to say, hey, we make a fence here. That fence would follow the dot here. We're saying that's an open where it's an access open, you see? So then now we run the bottom of the pier or the boardwalk in there. Now, how do we make everybody believe that boardwalk or pier is there? We gotta make, see this level line here? We gotta make a couple of these in here so it can represent what? The wood itself. But these are not concrete embankments just yet. They're all made out of wood. So see how I'm doing that? It has to be level now, truly horizontal. When you get back over here, you can either stop it or you can continue it to where it'll be just long lines. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna stop it. But notice how I'm gonna leave the dot there as a reference for right now. You see that? You can even have more fun by saying, you can put, where that dot is, you can say, you can put a small little island or something, or a small little, that's saying that this is the area off into the distance, you see, and right at the tip of that is where your dot is. Now look, say for instance, you don't want to deal with taking that boardwalk all the way and doing all that line. This is where you can do a line straight up now from the front here. And now you can do a line to that dot. And you know what that'll represent, ladies?
What?
That'll be the advertisements that are on the top. You know, when you go into the boardwalk.
Oh, yeah.
Each one on the top of them will have their own painted sign or their own sign. So then I can erase out what I'm saying is there, you see? And notice how a lot of times when you go to these places, it's just a box, basically. It's not nothing real fancy. They'll have a structure that'll do like this, just like that to hold it in place. That's all you gotta do in each one. And you'll notice as you go down, it'll get smaller just because of the position that you put it in. See what just happened, ladies? So then now another thing we can do is we can continue this fencing idea here, over here. Just put a smaller line. Put a smaller line because we're saying we're looking down at this scene. You see, so then now that will go towards the dot. See? And as long as it's smaller over here, I got it. And now you can put the lines like this. And now you got a makeshift fence. Remember, we're making these up. So now we're just making it up based upon, you know, how Don is saying he saw a beach or something and remembering the boardwalks and all of this stuff. Atlantic, I'm pulling them mainly from Atlantic City and Coney Island. These were the main ones that I could get to right away. You know what I mean? In the summer times before I would come this way and then I would go on trips, you know what I mean, to down your way, Miss Paulette, to go to Chesapeake Bay and all that good stuff like that.
Palisade Park?
Yeah, huh?
Palisade Park?
Yeah. See, that's when I would come and visit my aunt that lived in New Jersey. And then now we would take our day trips and week trips and stuff like that. So that's how I got to see all this stuff, everybody, that I enjoy doing, you know, and enjoy sharing with you guys. Like, for instance, we can make this look like a real beach scene by putting little half domes there, real small. And what are they gonna look like, ladies?
Beach umbrellas.
There you go. Have fun. And then put a little dot on top because that's the middle. That's where you can put a lot of your color and stuff. You can put a couple of makeshift boxes there, you know, small shapes underneath, real small now. You see what I'm doing here? You probably can't even see them on screen. I'm doing them so small. But they have to be small like that. They can't be as big as the buildings, because if they're big as the building, then that, you know, now that's a tarp. So if you wanted to put a tarp there, then yeah, I would put a tarp there, but then I would use this dot. I wouldn't use the dot for the water line. See what I got you doing? Yeah, that's the difference, because if we put somebody sitting right here on some rocks, that's what we're about to do. To cover this area right here, you put a block right here. That block is going to look like somebody that's sitting on a rock or something, you know, makeshift enclave, you know, how we do as human beings in different places. So now people can have these beautiful scenic scenes and stuff like that. Yeah, you see what I just did, everybody? Now you're probably saying, well, Don, where's the dot that we're going to do that? Yeah, we could put a dot over here, but it wouldn't be on here. Notice how that dot will be off the page, somewhere over here. Yeah, like how I'm off screen. Yup. That dot will be right over here, just like that. And then that will be the dot that would make this stuff that's here. So rather than beat you up over that, everybody, let's just have fun and put it in. Just imagine it. Have fun.